Do you ever reflect on your life and think, well, damn, I guess I did have it good after all? Do you ever reflect on your life and wish you could have taken more advantage of the opportunities you let slip by? Me too. In today's episode, I wanted to talk about enjoying the journey. It's something I've been thinking a lot about because how many of us really enjoy living our lives? Ever since I was a teenager, I felt like I struggled to really enjoy the moment. This wasn't all the time, but I would feel like I wasn't necessarily making the most of what was around me. I look back on my childhood and think, damn, if only I knew. For example, growing up in St. Martin, I used to complain a lot about how hot it was and how annoying our lack of progress was. While complaining, I failed to see how precious our culture was to me, how much I took for granted our stunning sunsets, how I wish I could savor another bite of the local cuisine. Even in college, I felt like I was so obsessed with graduating and surviving EECs that I let the goal cloud the reality that I could in fact relax and still be okay. Hindsight is 20/20, I get that. But for me, I wanted to be able that no matter what phase of life I'm in, to really be able to appreciate it for what it was, instead of being clouded by what else it was that I was after or missing. As I transition into my 20s, my biggest priority outside of financial freedom is being able to enjoy this journey of life. I didn't want to be one of those people that just does life, missing the seasons change, missing the beauty of each day because they were so bogged down by life and the responsibilities of being in our society. Despite only existing for 2 decades, it's easy for life to become boring and lose its beauty. It's a natural part of our being to get less stimulation by things that repeat. Eat your favorite meal every day and soon enough you'll hate it. When we're born, everything about life is amazing. Tasting new foods, seeing new places, you can't help but be speechless. Before we realize it, we became so comfortable in our bodies that we began to take them for granted, forgetting what they do for us every day, allowing us to navigate this immense trip landscape. It took me so long to recognize how easy it was for me to be bored by things and to question my attitude toward the things that once brought me joy. It also took a while to recognize that I was so obsessed with the past and the future that I often missed the most important aspect of living, and that was the present moment. If you didn't realize this by now, I love to plan. I'm a planner. I really am. I think it's largely because I love having the freedom to design my life and then execute it. Navigating my curiosities brings me so much joy that I often ditch my friends, lost in awe with my own imagination. I have goals. I have big goals, and they require a lot of effort to accomplish. But if manifesting was easy, everyone would do it. The thing is, I didn't want the pursuit of my goals to rob me from enjoying my life. I didn't want to get my riches only to realize that in getting my riches, I isolated myself from the world that I longed to be a part of. How do people enjoy the journey? I asked myself this over and over and over. How do I enjoy my journey? It led me to question when I first felt like I was no longer enjoying the journey. For me, it was largely in middle and high school, when I realized my actions early on would impact the long-term quality of my life. When you have adults constantly nagging you about your future, you inevitably start to think, well, yeah, what am I going to do with this life? And to make matters worse, when your curiosity to learn becomes an ideal that teachers and parents preach to your peers, you feel obligated to uphold it. And slowly my anxiety grew. And though I was good at managing the stress, it slowly robbed me from enjoying the moment and becoming overly fixated on the future. Anytime I did something well and I reached a new milestone moving me towards the dream I had for myself, I could never enjoy it. The constant praise made me feel numb. The snarky comments made me feel guilty for doing well. And as a child, you internalize these things. You build up walls, and all it did was drive me further away from the true reason why I wanted to create and do well. Instead of me doing well in school because I loved to learn about the world, I had to do well to get into college, to build X future so that these people could continue to say how great you are without being disappointed. It took me days and nights of looking within and my dad sending me tons of different TikToks to realize that what I was suffering from was high functioning anxiety. Though it brought me a lot of accomplishments, it robbed me from enjoying the journey, and it started to make the things that I love drain me. I wasn't living for me, and something needed to change because I wanted to do things differently for me. Firstly, I had to take a breather and ask myself, could I be happy in this moment? How can I have happiness in this moment? If my life didn't change, could I be happy with what it looked like today? Could I be happy with what I have done thus far? I had to give myself the space to recognize what it was about the past that I admired or longed for. And what was it about the future that I felt like I so desperately needed that without it my life was meaningless? What were the traits of my future self that I admired with envy? You're probably like, Nicole, what does any of this have to do with enjoying the moment? But bear with me, it comes full circle. From my past, I longed for my friends. I missed the lack of responsibility. I missed the innocence of existence. I missed the sweet, sweet flavors of St. Martin. I missed the warm hug of the tropical heat. I missed the blue ocean. I missed the voices of my people. I missed the freedom to just relax. From the future, I craved the financial independence and security that brings. I craved the experiences that I knew that I desired. I craved the wisdom of the knowledge that I would gain. And I craved the deep connections that would feed my soul. I craved the impact that I would have on the lives of others. What I realized is I always had my curiosity, my openness, my love, and my determination. I feel like your 20s are either where you build your dreams or your dreams go to die. My past taught me that people are always going to project their beliefs onto me. My wisdom has allowed me to create a space between these external beliefs and my internal no's. My past reminded me how I fell in love with life to begin with. My future excites me for the opportunities to come. To appease the planner in me and to calm the inner dialogue that felt like I was behind on everything, I let myself detail exactly all the things I wanted to do based on what I already know. I would share them with you, but my grandma always tells me, don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing, and I take that advice to heart. So you're going to have to just wait and see what the projects are. For example, I have been for years contemplating having a YouTube channel and putting myself out there in that medium, but I've always hesitated. But then given my life, I had to let myself organize these thoughts across different years so that I didn't feel so rushed to figure everything out right now. This instantly made me feel so much better because I no longer felt like I was going to be behind and I have no time to accomplish anything. It made adulting less overwhelming. To kind of see all the things that I wanted to achieve written on a piece of paper, it made it easier for me to kind of sort things and develop a kind of roadmap for what it is that I would spend my energy trying to learn about and grow and do. One of my irrational worries was always that I didn't have enough time, and it was making it very hard for me to progress without feeling like a failure for not being a millionaire at 23. I had to put my life into perspective. And I had more than enough time. In fact, in the words of Gary Vee, if I did nothing for the next 20 years and started working on my goals, I would still be fine. And that loosened the chokehold my ego had on my mind. Nature is never in a rush. So why was I? But now that I had a clear path forward and I knew time wasn't an issue, now that I understood what drove me to learn and to make things happen, now that I know what it was about my childhood that I missed and what about my future I craved, now that I had a clear focus on who I was, I come back to, okay, so how do I enjoy this journey? I realized that it would be natural for me to get bored by things that bring me joy. I knew I was going to have bad days where I didn't feel like doing anything. I'm going to have projects that don't turn out the way I want them to, and I will hit roadblocks. I will have moments of laziness. I will encounter distraction. I will feel the fear of missing out. I may even feel like I don't know what I'm doing. And I know I will get angry. And I know there'll be moments where I want to give up. But unlike before, I also understand the value of my emotions. When I experience joy, regardless of what triggers it, I bring awareness to how I feel and relish in it. When I get sad, I learn from myself, and I use my lows as a time to practice more self-love and patience. If dancing to the music that I love makes me smile, I try to not only listen and feel the music, but deeply feel the presence of joy and practice gratitude for being able to have a body to dance with. I involve gratitude throughout my day to remind myself of how great life is as it is today. The season showed me why summer is of value, but it also forced me to find the beauty in winter and to find the lessons captured in spring and fall. So even when it rains, I'm happy for the rain because it is so precious to our earth and being, and that a season without it brings havoc to our way of life. Even when it snows, I have things to look forward to. I see the value in the seasons changing and the impact that has on my being. I have learned to savor every meal because you never know when it's the last time it will cross your lips. I learned to savor my time and to share it with people that raise my consciousness. I walk through life taking each day as a gift. I stopped living in the pursuit of upholding other people's beliefs of me and instead just continued being me. If I liked who I was, that was enough. If my actions surprised or shocked anyone, I don't know what to tell you. You shouldn't make assumptions about me. I found the value in my unique experience. I finally understood the depth of my story of being. I understood clearly why I had a voice, why I exist. I now find ease in the slow days and flow on the fast days. I enjoy being, regardless of the accomplishments. I just enjoy being alive. I just love all the dimensions of existence, even the parts we neglect and hide from. And with all that love grows a deep, deep drive to manifest, because I want you all to feel the love that I feel. I was never able to say if I lost everything and I was a nobody, I'd be happy just because at least I existed in this beautiful world. But my eyes see what is so special about this life. And I finally feel like myself again, as silly as that sounds. I feel free, and it makes me so happy I could cry. Life doesn't have to feel hard anymore. It doesn't have to feel like a burden that I cannot escape unless I escape it forever. I could just be, and that was enough to be worthy of love. And with that, each day is no longer a race to achieve. It's an opportunity to just exist and to let my existence and my navigation through this world drive me and inspire me to create things that inspire and influence others. Now each day, I let life inspire me. Today I could have a great conversation that inspires a thought for a podcast. Tomorrow I could see art that inspires a meal I wish to cook. What makes each day worth it is the fact that I get to partake in having a being from which I can engage and influence the world around me. I let my curiosity drive what avenues I explore. I hope today you choose to enjoy the journey because each day is your chance to design your life, and I'm excited to see what you do with it.